what's up, man? Come on in. It was a tough decision, to walk away from my daily supervisory roles here because it's all I've known for a long time.
That's right.
And my whole life has been here. My adult life, has been here.
I guess when you came when you were 19 years old, there's been this drastic change in who you are. I actually watched you grow up into a man, and to watch you evolve from just being willing to show up at work and do whatever was necessary to even that moment when your leadership shifted. And I remember a conversation we had at the shop, and you were pondering going out on your own. You were pondering, what do I want this career to look like for my life? You came back and you said, man, that might be something I want to do. And to watch you evolve as a leader, from that moment, leader of men, and to just lead them over the course, really, that was probably in year 5 or so that happened. Your character is impeccable. I've never seen anybody or been around anybody who has a character like yours in our industry. And so it's an amazing thing to watch that develop.
I had a lot of challenges in becoming a leader because all the guys were my friends. I were coworkers, so there was a big jump there trying to go from coworker to almost a boss in a sense, and trying to. You helped me spread that gap a little bit because I was struggling for a while.
So when you think back on the last 30 years, I'm sure you have a lot of moments that are defining moments for you. What are maybe one or two that really stand out over the last 30 years?
It's a tough one. I think initially, I think the moment that I'd been in a couple jobs in 19, and 18 and 19 years old when I started here, and I had been looking through the newspaper. Of course, I've known y'all my whole life, and most people don't even know that we're related.
I know.
But there was an ad in the paper for Westlake Plumbing, and I think it had Charlie's picture on it, or so. I don't remember what it was, but and I saw it. I said, I think plumbers make pretty decent money. I said, maybe that's a trade I can get into. And I remember calling you, and it seemed like, I don't know how quick it was, but it seemed like you and Charlie came over pretty quick.
We did.
And we had that conversation about, just going to school and what that would involve. And it's just like, it happened so fast, it seemed like. But that was a defining moment to set the trajectory of my career initially. And to have faith that I could come in and learn a trade and take the time to teach me to learn that trade.
Right.
And so that I could excel in it, because I feel like in the 30 years that I've been here, I think you have helped make me elite in what we do. And I don't mean that boastfully, but it's just the way I feel. I feel like the stuff that I've learned, I've been able to learn to troubleshoot. I've learned to be able to go through, to plumb a home for one, and to plumb it without having many mistakes. The steps that y'all had already put in place and taught me set the whole trajectory of my career so that I could lead effectively. Even still, you had to teach me those leadership skills, which came from so many aspects of your life that I watched closely and learn from. And I think another defining moment, because there was a time in your career when in our relationship when you became ill, you were sick, you were out of the picture, and you completely 100% trusted that we had your back and had everything covered. And I know that was a trying time in your life. It was trying for us, but not near what you went through. And to come back and for the place was still open. We didn't run it in the ground, but just you came back and you were like, man, you guys really had my back, and you really kept everything going. And that gave us a chance to really lead and to try to do what we could in your absence.
Yeah. What's next for you? What do you think it's going to look like? How is it going to evolve for you? Coming out of construction, where it's like a day-to-day grind, there's stress, there's all these problem solving, and you're going to have still stress. You're going to have things that you have to problem solve. How does that transition work for you, and what does that look like for you?
Probably most people that we work with know that I've been pastoring bivocationally for the last 3 years, and that was a challenge, but I knew that's what I was supposed to be doing. Took me a long time to admit that because I ran a long time, but But once God got my attention and said, "This is what you're supposed to do," one of those things again I didn't think that I could do, but once I did, I was like, I'm actually think I can do this. It's just going to be a stretch trying to do it bivocationally. One of the things I struggled with, even with coming to leadership, was I wasn't good at handling confrontation. I had if something came up, I wasn't the best at addressing that. And even when it came to the guys and their behavior or how they worked, you were like, hey, you need to bust them on this, and go straight at it. And that's one of the things that I've learned working here is how to hit things head on and avoid that confrontation, which has helped me. Even transitioning into church as a full-time pastor, you're going to have confrontation. You're going to have somebody who always is not 100% agreeing with what the direction of the church is going and all that. And so it's kind of helped toughen me up a lot to prepare me for this. As I look back, I'm like, man, it was just God's plan all along to put me there, but I just wasn't ready to see it for the longest time. Because that's one thing I've learned is it's quicker to hit it now than to wait, because as you wait, things build or feelings get hurt, so it plays a lot into what I'm about to do as a pastor.
And I kind of thought, I wonder if, Brett might still want to be attached, because I could tell you were also struggling with even, man, you actually said it a while ago, this has been on my whole adult life. And so I asked you at that moment, I said, what if, I know that we've got to stop day-to-day operations, because let's just face it, you couldn't do everything for both places. But what about, maybe you consulting with us a little bit, coming and still being around the guys some, and trying to create some of that as well. What would you think about that, and what are your thoughts about doing something like that?
Yeah, it's, when I first came to talk to you seriously about, the church was talking about wanting me to be full time and all that, I think one of the things I told you was there's been so much invested here, to get this place to where it is. Not that I did all the legwork or any of that, but I mean, I feel like I was an essential part of it.
Naturally, yes.
But and to see me transitioning to something else, I was like, man, because I didn't know at the time what it was going to look like. Was I still going to need to work a couple days a week or any of that? And the church has stepped up and done a great deal for us. But I was like, man, if there's a chance, because was there any way I could be a part of it still somehow? And you're like, absolutely. When you spend much of your life, trying to make sure something goes a certain way and taking care of it, and it'll always be a part of your life.
That's right.
And you'll always be a part of my life, no matter what happens.
Correct.
You'll be a part of my life, and so just to have the opportunity to still, I mean, I love the people we work for. I love the people we work with, and so if I can be here and just kind of just maybe offer advice or whatever, in whatever fashion, just to have those relationships with those people that I've had relationships with the last 31 years. To me, it's a win, because I love people, and I love being able just to minister to them.
True.
Because even a part of our job as being a leadership, we still minister to them.
We do.
And because if you didn't, I think you'd be doing injustice to the people that are your friends and your coworkers, and so any chance I have to do that, I think, is a win.
You'll always be a part of what we're doing with Westlake Plumbing, because you have been a huge aspect. I
know where God has called me, and one of the things He calls us to do is to step out in faith, and so I believe that's what I was supposed to do. But I'm going to cherish every minute I spent here with you.
Oh yeah,
and just a lot of memories, man. A lot of good memories.
Oh yeah,
a lot of sad memories too. But there's more good, man. It's been a wonderful tenure here.
It's been good. Yep, been good. Thanks, man. As people came and went in our company, because that's something that's very natural. People are going to reach stages in their life where either they're at the age that they're going to do something different, or maybe a situation happens. But one of the key things that I wanted to do with this for our future is to allow Brett, because he's going to still be in close proximity, to still do some of the things that he always loved to do. Brett's still going to be able to maybe meet with some clients occasionally. We may go and connect with them together, and then also maybe even just coming and hanging out with the guys some. So I think this sets a good example for people who are currently a part of our team, that they can come, they can have a career, they can do things that are very impactful within our organization. But you know what? When somebody leaves, it doesn't have to be an adverse thing. It can be something that's celebrated. It can be something that we look back on and we cherish all those moments. And you know what? They can still be a part of who we are. When his dad died, I was at the funeral, and I'd watched, his dad was my uncle, and I'd watched him for years, and the characteristics of who Brett is exactly who his dad was. Solid man, solid individual, just high character, dependable. All those qualities, when people think about Brett, he's the embodiment of who his dad was. We were at the funeral, and our pastor got up and was talking about Faber, that was his dad's name, and saying that he carried a baton for a lot of people in our church when we were growing up. And he was one of the deacons. He was just a leader. He was one of those guys he never said a lot, but when he said it, everybody got quiet. Just being there, being at that service and watching that, the pastor said that a baton has been dropped. And I don't know if I've ever told Brett this, but without walking up there, I went up and picked up that baton. I actually have it in my office. I had one made to be a reminder that we all carry a baton in life. And we're accountable to who we are as a human being. We're accountable to who we are as our leadership. And I had it made, I guess, the next year. And this would have been before Brett even came to work for us. I had it made the next year by another guy in our deacon team. And I said, I don't want it to be anything elaborate. I want it to be something real simple, something plain. But I just want a visible reminder of leadership. I want a visible reminder of what that really is. And so for well over 30 years, that baton's been in my office. Sits behind my desk, up in the shelf. And when I walk in, I think about guys who come before me who clear paths, guys who come before me who do things that are selfless in nature. And that's a side of who Brett is, and as I observe him, there's not much selfishness in that guy. The way that he leads, the way that he carries himself, he's doing things for others. He's about to go do something that's very impactful for a lot of people. And so yeah, we all carry a baton, and we never know when we're going to hand it off. We never know when things are going to happen. I guess the hardest part sometimes is I feel like that we battle against this alignment that just has to be perfect. And as I think back on Brett, the alignment for Brett was perfect for our team. He was right. We were right at the place that we need to be as a company. We were still small enough, and it was still so personal enough. And he was at a place that he needed to grow and learn. And we were at a place that we were able to teach, and just all those things. That alignment was just perfect, and that's why we were able to span 31 years with Brett. I guess my hope and my prayer for Brett is that he continues to run that race of life. So I celebrate him. I celebrate the impact that he individually has made, but also I celebrate the impact that those collectively that have been with us, because he's right, it wasn't just him, and it definitely wasn't just me. I think that everybody can have that same kind of impact if they'll bring their best self every day to our team. It's amazing what you can accomplish when everybody's focused on the same goal.
There you are, bud. Look now.